Welcome back everyone, Mudford here. I'm out here in this messy garage working on this dirty quad. This is my daughter Grace's Yamaha Raptor 250 that she XC races. And what we have is, this is where the swing arm goes through the frame. There's a pretty long bolt here. The chain was a little loose. It's probably a little too tight right now. But anyway, the chain was really loose. And when I was tightening it up, I noticed not sure how well that movement is showing up. I know with inflation and gas prices, most people don't have a lot of extra money now. So I know I don't. I'm not going to throw some parts at it that I don't need. I'm going to tear it apart and find out exactly what we need. And then order it from Rocky Mountain ATV. I'm going with Rocky Mountain ATV because they have a really good selection of OEM parts. They ship quick, and our race series utilizes Rocky Mountain ATV race gas. So for every race, we get $30 in our account if we all race. And it's gonna go something like this. We're done here in the fender well. Okay, I know this is metric, but I got a 7/8. Fits it good enough. So after a couple little light tappy taps from my hammer, the bolt started sliding right out easily. So that means we're already in way better shape than we were with my 400EX. So we're going to go ahead and pull this bolt out. We have the back of the frame supported. So the bolt came right out with just a little persuasion. Cleaned it up a little bit on the wire wheel, but it looks pretty good. I gave her the old squint micrometer, and it's not worn too bad. Feel any kind of a ridge or anything where the bearings sit. So it might not be perfect, but should work. So now we need to get in here, see what our bearings look like. In order to do that, I think I'm going to pop the chain loose, take the master link off right here. Where are you? Right there. And then that should give me enough play to slide this back a little bit. I think I got enough play in the brake hose to slide it back enough to have a look in here and see what we got. So I got this side off. This is where all the play was. You can see the grease seal is shot. This is probably all right. Here's what my other side looks like. The grease seal is still fine on this one. So we're gonna need this for sure. I think we can reuse this. This is the spacer. You can see all the marks on it. That's from all these needle bearings on this side falling in there. There's part of the outer cage for the needle bearing, but this is going to have to be taken out, and then I'm going to have to order a new bearing. The other bearing is still intact on the other side, but it needs to be replaced also. So you can see the needle bearings are rusted in this side, but they're still intact. If you look past the needle bearings, you can see busted pieces of needles in there. That's what marred up that spacer sleeve for the bolt. I'm going to go ahead and order that stuff right now and see how much that runs me. So I had a box from Rocky Mountain ATV today when I got home from work. I've got my two bearings here and my seal. So let's go ahead and get these put in. So I just put the seal in the washer or whatever you call this thing here. So it's ready. So we're done with that. Now I have to drive out what's left of the old bearings. So I don't know if it's a good idea or not. What I've done is I've come over to this side and fit this sleeve here into there, and then tapped it with a hammer and pushed the bearing out on the other side. like so. I think the bearing is just about out, but when you're doing it like this, you got to be careful you don't smash your fingers or mushroom this. The side with the bearing that was still intact, I was able to drive out. This side, there was nothing really to use to drive it out. So I used this die grinder and just kept working it in the same spot. And then I was watching it closely and I could see when the color changed. I knew I made it through. So I just kept working back until there was a complete line, and then it popped right loose. And then you just have to get a hold of it and wiggle it out. And we're ready to put the new ones in. First, we'll go ahead and clean this out. Okay, I just put a light coat of grease in the tube after I cleaned it out. We're just gonna go ahead and get these bearings started and get them pushed in until they're flush. I'm gonna do the same thing on both sides. Okay, I just used my grease gun and put a little bit of grease in there and then worked it around the bearing and then popped the washer with the seal on. And now we're ready to push it back up into place. A couple things I noticed why it's good to do your maintenance regularly on these. I'm a little behind on this, but look what I found. This sprocket definitely needs to be changed. And where this where the motor mounts in here, this bracket needs to be re-welded. So I'm going to clean this up and weld it and order another sprocket here before the next race. Now I'm just going to slide this back up into place here. I almost made a big mistake. I had the washers on and I had forgot to put the spacer inside of here. That would have sucked, but I caught it in time. Now I'm going to put the washer and seal back on the outside. I got ratchet straps hooked up and we're going to pull this axle into place. So it's fighting the shock a little bit. The shock is wanting to extend. Okay, I found the ratchet straps are really unnecessary for getting this back together. If you use a chain fall on your back grab bar, you can raise it up, and as you raise it up enough, it takes the weight off the suspension, which allows this to push forward where it needs to go. I'm going to go ahead and get this bolt greased up and feed it in from the other side just like it was. And you can see it's not quite lined up, but I can wiggle it around and get it lined up. Okay, I got the chain tensioned up. It's got a little bit of slop in it. On this quad, when you compress the suspension, it really tightens up the chain. So if you have it too tight, it's gonna bind hard if you bottom out the suspension. So I'm keeping it a little bit loose. So she's ready to ride this weekend. We will get the sprocket ordered, and I'll probably do the welding on the frame same time I do the sprocket.